Hello, lovely people. Okay, stuffing. Mastering the perfect stuffing. I want to give you principles that you can use to give you consistency, gorgeousness, deliciousness. Breadcrumbs, onions, sage, there's dried fruit, there's nuts. I want you to put your own stamp on your stuffing. First up, the 3 basics that you must have. Onions, bread, herb, okay? This will give you a basic stuffing. And the way you take it to the next level is by using beautiful minced pork shoulder. Really, really nice, good, delicious fat. And then over here, you've got the embellishment. Things like lovely chestnuts, whether they're from the vacuum pack or whether they're roasted over a fire, gorgeous and peeled. We've got like all those lovely Christmassy kind of nuts that you'd get, just toasted up and cracked. They're beautiful in the stuffing, really good. Then dried fruit, just a tiny little surprise of sweetness and sourness. Dried cranberries, apricot, very good. Then a little bit of dried chili, just to give a background kind of hum. Now, I don't want it to be hot. Nutmeg, which is a classic, and a little cinnamon. Let's go in with a little olive oil and a little knob of butter. What we want to do is start to fry off the fragrant things, like the sage. This is going to be enough for this whole dish, plus a nice kind of 500-gram ball that will go up the back of the turkey or in the chicken or in your sort of roast pork. Slice it through the leaves, get rid of these stalks. Go in with about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, butter, a little chili, a pinch of cinnamon, and then nutmeg. Now the reason for this is you're waking up all those spices. Half a nutmeg goes in. We can turn the heat up. So the first thing that's gonna happen, spicy, oily, buttery, fat in there, the sage goes in, and we've got that on a medium heat, just finely chopped, 2 or 3 onions. The onions will go lovely and sweet. So onions into the sage, look, beautiful. Okay, you don't have to make them super sweet or caramelized, just soften them up. So give them a shake every now and again. You know, meat's always been expensive, so the point of a stuffing was to add flavour, make it exciting, have different textures, but also stretch a little meat a long way. We'll lightly season with salt, pepper. So guys, turn this off now, let that cool down. So you can put this in a kind of dish now. Give it 5-10 minutes, let's get it nice and cool. If you look at the 1.5 kilos of pork shoulder, let's put this into a bowl. That's going to be enough to put 1/2 kilo up the back of your turkey or in your chicken, or, you know, rubbed across the pork loin before you roll it up. And then you're going to have 1 kilo to make nice and crispy. You want 2 or 3 big handfuls of bread to kind of stretch the meat a lot further. We've got chestnuts here. So these are vacuum packed chestnuts, guys. You can get these in the supermarkets, but you could use other nuts as well. You can just kind of bust some up in your hand. Leave a couple whole like that. Things like apricots are just gorgeous. And then things like the dried cranberries, totally cool. Not much, just a few. And with the apricots, we'll just run our knife through it, then we'll put it in. So when your onions are fully cooled down, add them to your bowl and mix it up. Scrunch it in your hands. Of course you can use a spoon if you want to, but to be honest, it's much better to get stuck in. If that's just minced pork shoulder, then you will need to season. Good couple of pinches of salt and pepper. When you work it with your hand like this, just makes it bind nicely. So what I like to do now is take about 500 grams of this stuffing, it's about 1/3 of it, and I'll put this into a dish like that. And this I will stuff in the turkey. I'll only stuff it in the neck, that little flap of skin, you can put it underneath. Don't put it in the carcass, because that's going to slow down the cooking. But that will be kind of blonde and juicy. It will flavour the meat will flavour it, and it will flavour the tray that will flavour your gravy. You see where we're going? And then with this nice big old chunk here, add this to the tray here. And then what I love to do is just push it right into the edges. When it cooks, it does shrink a little bit, so you can kind of push the stuffing up the edge. Just gonna wash my hands. Just take a few little leaves on the top. You could mix it up, have a blend, bits of chestnut and a few cranberries, you know, because you're kind of storytelling on the top. And I just think it's really exciting. And then a tiny bit of olive oil, just so that sage goes from being dry and horrible and it'll go crispy and gorgeous. Just pat your little sage leaves, look at the color. You can imagine the flavour, can't you? It's going to be amazing. I have a stuffing that's cooked already. Gnarly, crispy, gorgeous. Have a little try. Oh, so good. I've got a veggie treat for you that people will fight over. This is creamed spinach with the most amazing local cheese crumble topping. It's absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous with pretty much any meal, but a Christmas meal, unbelievable. Go into a pan on a medium heat with a load of olive oil. Finely chop 2 onions and 2 cloves of garlic, along with 2 teaspoons of dried oregano. So look, there's one more flavour, nutmeg, a brilliant spice. Cheese's best friend and spinach's best friend. Finely grate in half, then fry gently for 10 minutes before adding the spinach. Little secret, frozen spinach is better for this recipe. You want a kilo. So let's turn up the heat. Let's let that spinach get kissed by the sweet onions, garlic, oregano and nutmeg. This is going to be joyful. A hit of salt and pepper and then let it cook down for about 20 minutes. For the crumble topping, mix 100 grams each of porridge oats, unsalted butter, plain flour and grated cheese. So this is a local fontina. There's many producers around here. Smells amazing. So it's really nice that you can swap cheeses out. If you were back home, you could use a cheddar. Like cheddar, this local fontina is a cow's milk cheese that has a nice tang and will melt really well. So this bit's super simple. Just rub in your hands the crumble topping together. You know the drill, right? This spinach dish is a bit of a classic. Once people have tried it, they keep wanting it. Finally fold in 150 millilitres of creme fraiche for a really lovely creamy texture. So nice to be here. And there's something about the views and the air. Oh, I just love it. Right, look at that colour, guys. Oh, luxury. So, next bit, you get your lovely spinach here and just pour it in. So look, beautiful colours. And then the crumble, very simply, goes on the top. And you don't have to perfectly do it. Let there be gaps around the edge. And actually what will happen is as the kind of milky, creamy gorgeousness starts bubbling, it will fight its way through and it will beat up the crumbly topping. That, my friends, is brilliant for any feasting and certainly Christmas. You can do that the day before and just pop it in the oven, 45 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, which is exactly where I'm going to put this now. And I'll bring it straight back, hopefully before it gets too dark. So here we go, the amazing creamed spinach. The smell from the cheese and the oats is fantastic. And I love the way the spinach here just gets caught. Absolutely delicious. Next time you go past the freezer department and you see that little lonely bag of frozen spinach, don't commiserate, celebrate. Delicious. Lovely people, I'm going to show you how to make Hasselback potatoes. Beautiful, roast, crispy skinned potatoes, cut in such a way that they all open up, fan up, and you can flavour them in the most beautiful way. I've done this for my new cookbook, Jamie's Christmas, and you can make this any time of the year. It's really a principle. It's not just potatoes, guys. Parsnips, carrots. Today, I am brave enough to have 2 helpers. My little boy buddy. Okay, and this is Petal. Say hello.
Hello. Hello.
Have you ever heard the word Hasselback? No, didn't think so. So I am going to get 2 of my beautiful spoons. I'm going to lay them down. I'm going to place the potato in between the gap to stop the knife going all the way through. So I'm going to make little slices every ½ centimetre, all the way down to the little spoon. And this means that you don't slip. It's really got a perfect effect. Come and have a little look here. So you can see what we've done here is create kind of like a crazy little open texture. Now the great thing about that is it makes more surface area, which means it's more crispy, and I can put flavoured oils in there. What do you think of that, kids? Impressed? I am using a Maris Piper potato because it's really great for roasting, fluffy on the inside, crispy on the outside, and that's exactly what you want in a roast potato or a Hasselback. I'm going to put the potatoes into the tray, and these lovely kids are going to show you how to make a flavoured oil. So, guys, do you know what herb this is?
Thyme.
Good lad.
So I'm going to put a pinch of salt in here to create not just seasoning for this, but an abrasive kind of environment. And then I'm going to give this to Petal. So Petal, if you can bash the living daylights out of that. Create a mush for Daddy. And that immediately, it sort of breaks down the herb itself, releases the oils, the flavour, and it's going to give you incredible smell. So once you've got a mush, then we can add our fat. That could be butter, turkey drippings, or olive oil. So if you can just muddle that slowly around in circles, I'm going to add some oil to this, and this is going to transmit all those amazing flavours. So what we want to do now is make sure all the cut sides are facing up. Then we're going to pour this amazing oil. Look at the colour, guys, look at the colour. And we'll just give it a toss. And of course, they're absorbing and taking on all of that beautiful flavour. And I'm going to put the cut side facing up. So I'm going to pop this in the oven. They're going to make a really good potato, but I want to add to it. We're going to take some leftover bread, brown or white. Do you know what nuts these are? I bet you don't.
Hazelnuts.
Yeah, it is hazelnuts. Hazelnuts is the nut of choice, but you could use almonds. Take some more of the thyme. I'm going to pop these in the oven. What you've got is really, really crispy bread now, and you can see how the skins on the hazelnuts have just kind of come off and they've toasted. Basically, we've created flavour and texture, okay? There's a nice little tip to come. These potatoes here have had 45 odd minutes, and I'm going to use a little brush, thyme, olive oil, Hasselback potatoes. Now, my little helper, can you take this tray, it's not hot, and just pour it in here? Are you tall enough to get in there? It's quite a big ask. Let's help you. And then we're going to put some cheese in there. So just a few little knobs of cheese. So if I close this, can you turn the button, please? You can have them chunky or you can have them quite fine. And then sprinkle this on top. I'm going to put this back in the oven now, about 15 more minutes until gnarly and crispy and golden and sizzling and delicious. Look at that. A great Hasselback potato, but it's not just potatoes, guys. Parsnips, carrots, absolutely beautiful. So have fun with it. Let's plate these sexy fellows up. Unbelievable, joyful. This is what you're getting, guys. Super crispy, and then on the inside, super soft, super fluffy, and of course it's absorbed all those beautiful fats and flavour from the thyme. Delicious. Have a go at those. If you've got any ways of doing it that you think are really interesting, put it in the comments box below. There were supposed to be little people to try them. Let's see what happens. You can rip them apart if you want. Can I take these back for the crew?
Yeah.
Cool.
No. Can I just have one more? No, one more.
Hi guys. Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a really simple but really delicious braised red cabbage. It's an amazing dish from my new cookbook, Jamie's Christmas, with fennel seeds, clementine, balsamic vinegar, smoky bacon and rosemary. People are going to go crazy for it on Christmas Day, or in actual fact, any time of the year. First up, I've got a nice whole red cabbage. This is about 1 kilo in weight. I've taken the tatty outside leaves off. Smoky bacon here. So first job, slice it up, and I'm using a kind of casserole style pan on a medium heat. So bacon in, and we're gonna fry this off with about a tablespoon of olive oil. So we're gonna render out the beautiful natural fat from the bacon. Beautiful. What I'm gonna do is split this red cabbage very carefully in half. Roughly and finely slice the red cabbage. The stalk, I'm just going to literally slice up in any old way. I think this is one of the cheapest vegetables that you can buy. I think personally that a lot of people think that red cabbage is like a frumpy, boring veg. Absolutely no way. Delicious. Now, I can hear that the bacon is changing sound. It's starting to get golden if you look in there. And when it's getting lightly golden, I'm going to add 2 or 3 big sprigs of rosemary, go in, and I want the rosemary to absorb all of that lovely fat from the bacon. And the rosemary is then going to go really, really crispy. So look at this, guys. The rosemary goes deep green and starts to go equally crispy, just like the bacon. I'm going to remove the rosemary and the bacon with a slotted spoon. and I'm going to leave behind the fat, right? In here, look at that. That's all smoky bacon fat. I'm going to take a little knob of butter, put that in there. We're going to go in with 2 teaspoons level of fennel seed. Have a look at these. These are my favourite spice. I use it so often, and it's really, really good. So I'm just going to tear in some prunes, a little handful. These have the most incredible dynamic flavour. They will completely disintegrate into nothing. And then I'm going to go in with the red cabbage. 1 or 2 nice apples, roughly chop it. This will give amazing sweetness to this dish without having to use like loads of brown sugar and stuff like that. Look at the colour, guys. The amazing purple against the white of the apples. I'll add a nice little pinch of salt and pepper. And then there's one last ingredient. I'm going to add about 8 to 10 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. And we're going to cook it all away. So guys, it might seem like a lot of balsamic vinegar, but please just trust me, when that cooks away, it's going to bring all the flavours together. So you've got the sweet and the sour of the vinegar and the apples and the prunes, you know, with all those spices and the smoky bacon. It's going to be delicious. So lid on, medium heat, 25 minutes. I'll stir that every 5 minutes. So, see you in 25. So this has had 25 minutes. It's a phenomenal colour. You might want to add just a little bit more fresh butter just to kind of help join all the flavours. And then if you wanted to, you can just use a classic Christmas flavour like clementine. And that's the last thing, the last bit of sweetness that kind of stops the frying. Look at that. It's just a beautiful thing. Of course, cabbage is incredibly good for you, but we've made this so desirable, so delicious. And then don't forget the rosemary and the crispy bacon bits. Absolutely gorgeous. That'll feed, as a side dish, 10 people. Easy peasy. Really nice. Mine would take a couple of hours to cook, but the way I'm going to do it, the way I'm going to cheat it, it's going to be incredible and way quicker. First of all, I've got a kilo of nice Harris Piper potatoes. Instead of trying to slice it all by hand, use your food processor. That's what it's invented for. Not even doing any work. So, in a tray, I'm going to put the potatoes in here. Onions are going to go through as well. So, onions and potatoes, the base of the flavour. I need the kettle, put that on. And then we're going to put a nice pinch of salt, some pepper. We're going to use a little cream. I'm going to use 3/4 of this pot. This is no longer a classic recipe now. This is just taking some of the accents of flavour. It's going to cook quicker for busy people. I still want nice food though, you know. Little thyme from over here. It's a little snip of that. So I'm going to whack this on the hob now. I'm going to put a little bit of that boiling water in here, just enough to come about 1/4 of the way up. And I'm going to put that on full whack. I'm going to bring that to a boil. These potatoes are going to cook on the hob, and then we use the oven to sort of get it gratinated and sort of golden and bubbly and delicious. So I'm going to add a few key ingredients. Anchovies. You can put a bit of the oil in as well. That won't hurt. Just 2 or 3 anchovies. Just break them up with your hand. They'll melt into a nothingness, yeah? But it's like a saltiness, a seasy saltiness that just makes this dish beautiful. Also garlic. Bang it in, don't even bother peeling it, and squash that in. And what I want to do now is just put a little nutmeg. About 1/4 of a nutmeg goes in, and then just a little bit of parmesan now. A little bit of parmesan going like that. Now I'm going to cover that now with tin foil. I'm going to turn the heat down, let that just cook for about 6 minutes. I'm going to take this tin foil off of the potatoes here, put an extra bit of parmesan on the top. And this is one of my favourite potato dishes. And then we'll get this straight in the oven, and that'll start gratinating and getting really gnarly and beautiful. So that goes straight in there. Let's go and have a look at the potatoes. This is the dish that would take so much time to do it traditionally. And look at that, beautiful, crispy on the top, soft and sort of numptious in the middle. Celeriac is an incredible vegetable. It is incredibly useful. And it's pretty much in every single supermarket in the country. And people just walk past it and have never tried it. It's got a bit of a celery vibe. It feels quite fresh. And if you roast it and kind of caramelize it, it goes very, very deep. So I've got like 1.5 kilos of potatoes here. And I'm gonna roughly do 50-50 of celeriac and potatoes. So I've given it a nice wash and a scrub. I'll just take the skin off. So simply cut it in half and then cut it into inch chunks. We'll throw that into the water. So with the spuds, I'm gonna cut it into the same size, about inch chunks. Really subtle thing that you can do is just take a little bunch of thyme. That will infuse the water, which will infuse the veg. It's a lovely little trick to making your mash even more delicious. And of course, once the potatoes are cooked, we take it out. So we're gonna boil this for like 12, 13 minutes until the potatoes and celeriac are cooked. Then we're gonna mash it. So let's just check if those potatoes are cooked. Lovely. The celeriac is cooked as well. So let's take those carefully over and drain them. So let's get rid of the herbs now. They've done their job. So let those steam just for a little bit. Really important when you're doing your mashed potatoes. In the pan, first of all, some nice butter. Then give it a tablespoon of olive oil. Now, because it's Christmas, I'm gonna add a little cream. We're gonna start the seasoning process now. Mix it up. Let's have a little taste. I love mashed potato. I love it as much as the next person, but with the celeriac and doing that 50-50, it makes it so delicious. Get yourself a nice heat-proof serving bowl, right? Take this lovely mash, get every last bit into the bowl. When I used to work in the old French restaurants, we used to do this. Do the old little lines, you know, silly daft stuff. Okay, just fill this up with about 2-3 inches of water. And then we'll put that on a low heat. And that will create steam. And again, I'll do that same trick with the little hat. Put that on top. That will simmer very gently. You can check the water so it doesn't boil dry, but that will keep it warm. And it's a brilliant little trick at a very busy time of year.
And there's no better way to keep cosy outside than with homemade sausage rolls. But I'm giving them a twist, literally, by making them into a super festive sausage roll wreath. So I'm doing one with beautiful sausage meat and another with gorgeous roasted squash. So I'll start with a squash. I'm just gonna get myself a large knife, carefully, because it's round, put this down like this, tip goes in the middle, don't put too much weight down, right, because this can be a little bit tricky, and then go down. So split these into 8, and then I want to give you the seasonings that make this squash sublime. So here, we've got the basics, salt and pepper, but then we can bring the squash to life with a little bit, just a tiny bit of chili, some coriander seeds, and a little bit of cinnamon. Those 5 seasonings are gonna really transform that squash. So get yourself a roasting tray. We'll go in with some olive oil, just a little bit, and then in a pestle and mortar, we'll add a teaspoon of the coriander seeds, a nice pinch of the salt and pepper, and a little pinch of the chili. I don't want it to be spicy, just a little bit of background hum. And then with the cinnamon, just a little bit. Get your squash, get a spoon, just remove those little seeds there. And then in with the amazing seasoning. Give it a nice little mix up. So that is gonna be beautiful. I'll roast that for about 45 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, and that will go sweet, delicious, intense, and it will be a brilliant filling for my sausage roll. So use the fork to mash up all of that skin and flesh. Look at that. Then let's add some really nice complementary Christmassy flavors. So a little handful of vat-packed chestnuts. Just break them up in your hands. Maybe sort of like 10 or 12 of those. And then what else is Christmassy? Cranberries. Dried cranberries, they're sweet, they're sour. Then a little bit of cheese for seasoning and kind of holding it all together. So that goes in. Then we just mix it all up. Have a little taste. Salt, pepper, a little tweak if you want to. And look, if you're wondering what we would do with these, you will never, ever regret having leftover squash in the fridge. You can tear that into a pasta, risotto, noodle dish, a stew. That goes to one side. Now it gets really fun. So we are going to cheat. We're going to use pre-made puff pastry. All butter puff pastry. You don't want to be making this at home. You've got way more important things to do. I've got 2 packs here. Unwind it, and you're good to go. All I have to do now is cut each sheet into 2 lengthwise. So go right to the middle here and just cut through the pastry like so. We're going to do sausage first. A good Cumberland sausage, free-range pork. Just get a knife and run it down the sausage like that and do that to all 4. So just take the skin off and place that in the middle of your pastry. And look, exactly the perfect size. So then we've got our lovely filling here with our squash. So take that filling, make it even all the way along. So I've got 2 runs of sausage roll, 1 run of the lovely squash, and then I'm going to do a little surprise with that one. So get an egg in a bowl, whisk it up. Egg wash is what we use to stick pastry together or give it a beautiful glossy finish on the outside. I want to get more flavour and colour onto it, so I'm going to use a little bit of English mustard. A heaped teaspoon goes in. We're just going to turn this over. So pull it up like that. Let the pastry stick to this side like that. Use your fingers just to press it together. We'll do exactly the same on our amazing sausages here. Push your finger down like that, and then get yourself a fork and just use that to kind of crimp that lovely edge. This would be amazing. You can cook them whole like that, put them on a big table, a big board. It looks really, really cool. But I want to go to the next level. It's Christmas, guys. So we're going to do a sausage roll wreath. For that, get the biggest tray that comes with the oven, right, like that. We're going to take our piece of greaseproof paper. We're going to put that on here. We're going to get a regular kind of like bowl in the middle, like this, and we're going to build around it. Now, the great thing about... Come on, my big boy, how are you?
Good.
You want to help me with this sausage roll wreath?
Wreath?
Yeah, you know, the thing that Mum hangs, but it's normally flowers.
Yeah.
Not today, it's going to be sausage roll. So I'm going to cut this in the middle. Go and wash your hands, buddy, so you can help me, right? So then into quarters, and then into eighths. So these are our sort of more chunky sausage rolls. Then we'll do exactly the same here, but into sixteenths. We've basically got fat ones and thin ones. Now, the great thing about this is if you do it a little bit badly, it really doesn't matter, because the great thing about puff pastry is it just kind of cooks up and out, and then any little kind of imperfections kind of become beautiful. You cook yourself out of trouble. Take your coat off, big boy. Roll those sleeves up. Let's do this. Come on, you in your pajamas?
Yeah.
We'll start off by the bigger ones going around, right, because it's a wreath. So space those around the bowl. It's eccentric, right? We're having a bit of fun, and we should be doing it with food as well. Get the kids involved. Once we have done that, right, we can take the bowl away, and then we can have a little go on the squash. And all I would do with this one, buddy, is run it sort of on the side like that. You got it, you're better than me now. Any leftover ones of these, you can freeze. So we'll just take a bit of that mustard egg wash, and we'll egg wash the side of each one of these. Budge, do you want to take over from this, my bro?
Yeah.
You're not going to let me kiss you for much longer, are you? Yeah. Get too old and too cool. Good job. Are you a bit chilly? Go on, get your jacket back on. Now what we can do, a little bit of sesame seeds, a little bit of poppy seeds.
Can I do some?
Of course you can. What we're going to do is take a little bit of rosemary, grab some rosemary and some bay. Here we go.
Go.
Couple of bay leaves, 4 or 5, and we'll rub those with oil first, otherwise they'll go a bit dry and horrible. We're going to go in with a few bits of rosemary. You like that, Buds?
Yeah.
So look at that. That is the Oliver sausage roll wreath.
It even has an O in the middle.
Yeah, it even has an O in the middle. But what would you do with a wreath? You'd hang it. So I'm going to show you how to make a little bow to hang this wreath. So I split this into 2, and then we're going to go not quite to the end and cut it into 3. Take some cheese like that. So what we're going to do to plait, just go one over there, over there, over there, over there. You know how to plait, right? There, 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 there. Pinch it at the end, and you have your lovely plait. I'll get another little tray. So rough and ready, don't stress about it. We're just going to cross it over like that, right? That on a board, you can eat the whole lot. It's going to be amazing. With that little cheesy puffy bow, we're going to put that in the oven. Buds, you go in at the bottom. That'll go in for about 30 minutes, 35 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius until golden and delicious. And serve it with a laugh, a little twinkle in your eye. And I reckon everyone's going to love that, right, Buds?
Yeah.
So, and we have our golden bow and our epic sausage roll wreath. Look at that. Do a nice little bow. So there you go, lovely people. That is my completely bonkers Christmas sausage roll and squash wreath. I never thought I'd be making one of these, but you know what? Let yourself go, have fun, and honestly, it will put a smile on people's faces. Have a little try. I love that. It's Christmassy, it's bonkers, it's delicious. Few drinks, happy days. OK, so I've got an incredible Brussels sprout recipe. It's delicious, it's lovely, it's super quick, and it will definitely sort of de-stressify the whole kitchen, because these little bad boys here are really controversial. These are one of the most highly wasted vegetables in the Christmas period, and people love them or hate them. So, I've got some of my Brussels, I've given them a wash, and we're going to shred these little bad boys. So, pack them into a food processor, get the finest slicer you can in there. Really simple, just load them in, and they'll keep sort of shaving away. Forget making little crosses on the bottom of the Brussels. This is a far more radical approach. Come and look at this. You know, you'd have to be a ninja to achieve this kind of shredding, and the machine does it all for you, right? So really delicate, really lovely. What have we done? Right, we've tenderized it, right? We're going to be able to cook it quicker, we'll be able to reheat it quicker, and also we're going to be able to work with those little slight bitterness notes that are in Brussels. We're going to work with them to make them really, really delicious. So let's put them aside for a second. One flavour that works really well with Brussels is smoky bacon. I'm going to slice up the bacon so it's the same thickness as your Brussels sprouts, so there's a real harmony between the two. So, a hot pan, my 4 rashers of bacon, a splash of olive oil, and we're off. This is so easy, you could do it on Christmas Day, or you could even do it the day before. Once it's cooked, take it off, let it cool down, put a lid on top, put it in the garage. Christmas Day, reheat, 3 minutes, job's a good one. Another big flavour going in now is rosemary. Just 2 sprigs. Give it a good old shake. Give that a minute and then add the Brussels. Just pour them in. It's time to whack up the heat and cook it all through. So look, it's already starting to soften up. What you can do is just put a splash of water, and it just creates enough steam, and that immediately starts to soften and sweeten your Brussels. Season with a good pinch of salt and pepper and a knob of butter. If you're good at tossing, have a little toss. It's really funny, that one knob of butter has this ability of linking flavours. You know, the flavour of the Brussels with the smoky bacon, with the rosemary, puts a nice shine on it. And then, the secret ingredient. So secret, I can't find it. Worcestershire sauce. 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons, 4 tablespoons, and 5, if you're a little bit fruity, of Worcestershire sauce. It's going to reduce down, and it won't be like slap around your face, you know, it will just mellow. So at this point, we are done. Of course, we have a little taste. Delish. I could just eat it as a main course. Honestly, it is that good with some mashed potatoes and a bit of gravy. Delish. So, brothers, sisters, as the Style Council once said, let me take you to the promised land and change your Brussels sprouts hell. Let's not throw all our Brussels away. Let's serve these bad boys up. And let's love our Brussels. And if you have any leftovers, then send them to me. Jamie Oliver, P.O. Box, Essex. Job done.
We have to do Brussels sprouts. This is my favourite Brussels sprouts ever. 6 ingredients making the most delicious dish. We got the Brussels, beautiful Cumberland sausages, apple, fantastic sage and onion and Worcestershire sauce. Oh my lord, cooked like this, you will not regret it. Let's start off with the beautiful Brussels. So salted boiling water here. What I'm using is a lovely pack of pre-peeled Brussels. Of course you can peel them yourself, but look at these, all done for you, nice and easy. So we need 800 grams. This will be enough for 6 to 8 people. It's gonna be delicious. Put a lid on top, and then on a pan, what I want to do is get it onto a high heat, and we're going to go first in with the lovely Cumberland sausages. All you need is 2. If we just squeeze it out of the skin, it's the simplest thing to do. In a lovely Cumberland sausage, you've normally got spices, and this begins the most amazing sort of savoury, delicious sort of bunch of flavours that you're going to love. Have a little wash of the hands. Now, break up the sausage like this, and what will happen is all the beautiful flavours will come out of the sausage. The herb of choice is sage. It's one of my favourite herbs for Christmas. Simply grab it at the top where the stalks begin and give it a twist. Stalks we don't need. These lovely leaves rip and tear into the pan so you can smell it. It's absolutely amazing. Look at those colours, gorgeous. And then I'm going to add a nice little knob of butter. And when the sage starts to fry in that, it's going to go so crispy and deep green and gorgeous. Next up, 2 very simple but beautiful ingredients. First up, onion, then apple. So an onion, simply half it and then finely slice it. The onion will just give you that beautiful sweet flavour. And then straight into the pan. Give it a nice little stir or a toss. Whew, those onions are strong, my eyes. We want to achieve some nice golden colour, which gives you sweetness and deliciousness. And I promise you, this will be one of the best Brussels dishes you've ever done. So what I love about this recipe is you can do it 1 or 2 days before Christmas. Yes, you can. You can get it in the fridge, and actually on Christmas Day, you can reheat it. And it actually tastes better reheated. The flavours penetrate the Brussels sprouts. It's gonna be amazing. So look, let's just give that a good old shake up. Next up, apple. Give it a nice little peel. Half the apple, then quarter it, and then remove the little bit of core. Finally chop the apple. Really nice sweetness that we'll get from this. So last but not least, the apple goes in. It just becomes this beautiful thing that's around the Brussels. It's going to be so tasty. What you can do at this stage is just steal a little bit of water from the Brussels sprouts, just a little bit. It just kind of cleans the pan a little bit, softens everything. And then I'm going to keep on frying that until beautiful and golden. What I want to do now is just take our lovely Brussels, drain these in a colander. Look at that. Once you've drained the Brussels, let them steam. And it's when they're steaming and hot, that's when they're most open to sort of sucking up flavour and becoming delicious. Let's keep our eye on this beautiful concoction here. It's gonna be so good. You can see it getting more golden. And then what I wanna do is just slice these Brussels in half or squash them, but basically just open them up to flavouring. And the final ingredient that is absolutely integral is a beautiful Worcestershire sauce. So a good shaking of that and it will join all the flavors together. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And then I want you to pretty much cook it away. Absolutely, oh, it smells amazing. And then in with the Brussels sprouts. These are absolutely beautiful. Give it a nice little shake, mix it up well, and then when you're happy that it's been really kissed with all that beautiful flavor, then I turn it down, and I like to leave it for like 5-10 minutes to get a little bit of color. And then when you put it out on a platter, it looks, smells, and tastes incredible. Now, the great thing about this also is you can easily make it vegetarian. So remove the sausage, and you can get vegetarian Worcestershire sauce. Time to plate up. Just let it rain the best Brussels ever. Look at that. It's so good. That is a proper hearty platter of the most incredible Brussels sprouts. I just love it. Right, let me try one for you so I can tell you what it tastes like. That is so good. Lovely people, we are going to celebrate the creation of the perfect roast potato. It's not just a potato, this is the perfect roast potato. And if you think I'm going mad, it's because I'm mad for roast potatoes. Crispy outside and fluffy inside. We're going to do it 3 ways. Goose fat potatoes, butter, clementine, rosemary, garlic, and extra virgin olive oil. The Maris Piper is an incredible potato. Fluffy and starchy. The peeling of the potatoes, you don't need to see that. I've got them parboiling in here in salted boiling water. They're kind of that size. Cook them for about 10 minutes. The best roast potatoes I've ever made have come from a time when I almost felt I'd overcooked them and created mashed potato, okay? So you need to tread that line very, very, very carefully. So I can see they're just kind of thinking about breaking up. Pour it into the colander. This steaming part here now is also incredibly important. It's starting to get starchy, see it go kind of fluffy and white, and little kind of flecks and flakes of broken bits of potato. These are the things that are going to give you crispy bits, and we love crispy bits, and a crispy outside, okay? Really, really important. In tray number 1, cold pressed extra virgin olive oil. 3 tablespoons, lower in saturated fats, so we love that. We're going to move on. Butter and olive oil. Half as much, and then a nice knob of butter. Butter's going to give you incredible flavour and a sort of lovely sweetness, but also a strong contender for gorgeousness is goose fat. You can get it in all the supermarkets, 3 or 4 tablespoons in there. You're going to get a richer flavour. It could be pork fat, it could be beef tallow. I love all of them, but I generally sway for the butter and the olive oil. But at Christmas, I kind of go for the goose fat because it's so good. A little secret ingredient that I do, a tablespoon of red wine vinegar. It will disappear, and what's left is a really subtle kind of tang. It just helps make the perfect roast potato. Then herbs. So let's go to the olive oil here. Get in some lovely rosemary. Put it under a hot tap. If you put it under a hot tap, it just wakes up the natural oils in the rosemary. Okay, so rosemary goes in, and of course, best friends with garlic. Leave the skin on. The skin will protect the garlic, and it will release the garlicness very gently. The whole bulb of garlic. Trust me, guys. Then we're going to go to the olive oil and butter. Sage is a classic, beautiful, beautiful fragrant herb. That goes in. And then we've got clementine. You could use any citrus fruit, but at Christmas, clementine's particularly good. Just the zest. Lovely. That will make a difference. It's going to be really, really good. Last but not least, goose fat. Just go brave on bay leaves. Dried ones are okay, fresh, amazing. 4, 5, 6, and then go in with some thyme. We're going to hit these up with some salt and pepper, olive oil, rosemary, garlic, clementine, butter, olive oil and sage, and bay, thyme and goose fat. Delicious. Now back over here. While these little bad boys are steaming hot, right, we need to chuff them up. Scratching and scraping the edge. Chuffing, right? I've made it up, okay? Look what I'm doing, look what I'm doing. Woohoo! You see how I've beaten that up, right? So that's good. So we're gonna go in. While they're hot, just mix up all of these. Absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to cook these in an oven about 180, 190, which is about 350 Fahrenheit. Over the period of about 50 minutes, maybe an hour, they're going to get gorgeous and golden and crispy. But after about 40 minutes, I want to show you the last little tip to make these incredible. Take the tray out of the oven after 40 minutes. Place the potato masher on top, and then just let it pop and let the lovely starchy inside just puff out and then create a flatter surface area on the bottom and the top. Just do that around the whole tray and then pop it back in for another 10 minutes. You can hear the sizzle. Have a little shake up. You can see and you can hear there is crispy perfection in the house. Goose fat potatoes, the butter potatoes with the clementine. The smell in this room is off the chart. And last but not least, the rosemary, garlic, and extra virgin olive oil. Crispy, fluffy, perfect, tangy, little gorgeous. I'm going to show you 3 simple ways to make roasted veg extra special. Gorgeously golden roast potatoes, carrots with rosemary and a clementine glaze, and parsnips caramelized with honey, bay and vinegar. We're now going to do the side dishes, right? But there's certain things I do on Christmas Eve that guarantee flavour and kind of de-stressing all the work on Christmas Day. So I've parboiled these for 5 minutes each, together. Carrots and parsnips that I dug up, but standard parsnips, so easy. I'm now going to drain the potatoes. Now, the key is, with the potatoes, you want to parboil them long enough to exaggerate the fluffy inside. About 12, 13 minutes. What we're going to do is dress these in fat. That will protect them. Let's just talk about fat, because fat is flavour, and you can use a different fat on different vegetables. I'll put olive oil on my carrots today, just a little drizzle. We can use butter on my parsnips, and then goose fat on your roast potatoes. Season them with salt and pepper, and then toss them in that fat. Make sure they're all nicely coated, and get some garlic on the potatoes, leave the skins on. They'll go sweet and mild and delicate. So on Christmas Eve, we can do all this. Season it up, dress it up in a chosen fat, and then I'll just cover that and put it somewhere cold. And it's a job out the way, brilliant. But I'll cook these now for an hour. So the oven will be at 180. And then we can just rack them up like that, and we've still got another bit of space if we wanted to do anything else. Brilliant. So the roast veg has had nearly an hour, so it's getting golden. We've concentrated all those flavours, which is great. But at this stage, the last 10 minutes, we can add another layer of incredible flavour so that each veggie is unique and delicious. Let's get these veggies out. Come on. So the spuds there, parsnips, looking beautiful, and the carrots. Now, I'm going to show you how to flavour layer. You can use different herbs and different flavours to make each one of these completely delicious, individual and fantastical. You want to get the best out of the herbs. If you put them in at the beginning, they're going to be ruined by the time everything's ready, right? So that last 10 minutes is like just perfect. So, carrots. We'll go in with rosemary, right? We can mix this up, and that residual fat in the tray will just dress those herbs. A little bit of clementine. Right? That juice will reduce and glaze those carrots. It will be lovely. We're going to go in with bay leaves here on the parsnips, and then a good swig of white or red wine vinegar. About a tablespoon goes in, and then a drizzle of honey. This flavour combo is phenomenal. And then the sage. It's going to go really snappy and delicious. But there's a really important thing here that I need to show you, and that is with a potato masher. We can increase crunchiness by just lightly putting a bit of pressure on the potatoes to give them more surface area. And then that way, you get the crispiest, most wonderful potatoes. These roast veggies are going to be absolutely amazing. And we're going to put them now back in the oven until perfection. About 10 minutes. But this is also the moment in real life on Christmas Day where you'd be getting ready to carve the turkey, right? You'd have your gravy on here. We can put some greens on. But what a lovely selection of veggies, right? A real celebration. What are you doing? Hello. Just doing veggies, roast veggies. What's your favourite roast veg?
Okay, lemon.
Lemon, apparently.
Oh, lemon. There you go, roast lemon for Christmas.
Look. Oh, yeah, he's been naughty.
What have you done? Tell me what you've done.
But you still love me, do you?
Oh, I love you, yes. I love you very much.
You might not want to.
I broke the front piano.
Oh.
I'm trying to do a song and the back bit fell off.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you've broken Daddy's piano?
Yeah.
Okay. How could you not forgive him? Go on, go and play. Never a quiet moment in the Oliver household. It's always like that. He'll get a bit of coal for Christmas. Okay, let's have a look at these lovely, lovely veg. Oh, beautiful roast potatoes. Clementine and rosemary, roast carrots, and then roast parsnips with the vinegar and the bay and the honey. So come on, let's have a little look at a potato. Oh, yeah, they're hot. Look at that. If you just bust it open, you're going to see that world of fluff and crispiness. The sage is phenomenal. The salty outside with the goose fat, which I love. So good. Carrot time, simplicity. That lovely kind of spritz of Christmas with the clementine. And then, the amazing parsnip. What the vinegar does with the bay is simply a thing of beauty. Look how gnarly and beautiful the outer skin gets. Don't peel the parsnips. Oh, wow. Everything here tastes very different and very, very delicious. We've got our beautiful Brussels sprouts and greens here. I've just given you some of the ideas, hints, tips and principles that will arm you with the confidence, I hope, to do the best veg for this Christmas ever. Amazing roast veggies and the simplest steamed and boiled veg.